Hi, this is part 3 of my style master post. In part 1, we have the elegant, glamorous, academic, and artsy style families. In part 2, we have the romantic, the hyper-feminine, the tropical and Mediterranean, and streetwear families. Like I said in the other videos, there is an infinite amount of styles because everyone can create their own, but this master list can help you narrow down the options that you might want to look into. Here is a playlist that can help you on your style development journey, and it's a how to find your style guide and style breakdowns of a few aesthetics. If you feel like you need help with some of these steps while developing your style, you can hire me as your styling coach at cocostyling.com. For today's master post, I'll be talking about retro styles. Vintage and retro are terms that are used to describe older styles. The main difference being that vintage is about items that were worn between 20 to 100 years before, and retro is to describe items that are vintage inspired. Because of this, it is something relative to your generation. In regards to retro fashion, it typically refers to styles that were popular between 20 to 30 years prior. So technically to Gen Z, retro would be 90s and early 2000s fashion. To millennials, it would be 70s to 80s fashion. And to Gen X, it would be 50s to 60s fashion. I am not necessarily going to give a historically accurate description of all of these styles in this video, because this is not a fashion history video. It is about how these styles can be used in the modern era. There are lots of retro and vintage inspired styles. In this part, I'm going to talk about 90s and early 2000s fashion because they are very popular right now, and in the next video, I will be talking about 70s to 50s fashion. 90s and early 2000s retro. This is probably the one that you are the most familiar with because it came back and it is in style right now. First, we have the regular Y2k. This style is based around 90s and early 2000s fashion. An interesting point is that even though this is retro for us, 90s fashion actually has a very futuristic look. This is because it was also the rise of the internet era. There are different subdivisions in Y2k, like the more futuristic fairy-like Y2k, something like the Winx Club. Then we have the hyper-feminine versions, think 20,000 socialites, and the famous velvet tracksuit. Then we have the coconut girl, which would be the more tropical version, and I already covered it in last week's video. Then we also have the more hip-hop inspired Y2k. This one is also part of the streetwear family, since it was the parent of what we call streetwear today. It is like the regular Y2k, but a little bit less pink and girly and futuristic. It also includes baggy jeans, crop tops, and lots of sportswear items. Skater fashion. It wasn't created in the 90s, but it became a global phenomenon in this era. It is practical and comfy. It is also slightly tropical because it is the child of the skate subculture. This is another style that is more male-dominated. These shoes are the most important part of it. You basically need a pair of Vans or Converse, specifically Chuck Taylors, Vans Old Schools, and Vans Skate Highs. Then we have graphic oversized shirts, but also crop tops, short shorts, baggy jeans, cargos, caps, and hoodies. Grunge. Like hippies and punks, this was not only a style, it was an anti-fashion statement, and it was heavily linked with depression. It is an androgynous edgy look popularized by bands like Nirvana and Pearl Jam. It is composed of timeless and practical items. Most of them would be things that you can find while thrifting for garments. Things like flannel shirts, Doc Martens, vintage jeans, and you might add dark lipstick and beanies. In the modern era, we also have e-girls. It is short for electronic girl. I would describe it as the cute modern version of soft grunge mixed with Japanese kawaii fashion. Another subdivision of grunge would be what we could call rockstar chic or heroin chic, which would be the combination between this and casual chic. The name of this style comes from the idea of certain drugs causing weight loss, specifically heroin. I am just mentioning it because it is a popular term and for educational purposes, not because I condone the use of hard drugs. Casual chic. The modern name for this aesthetic is the off-duty model look. And it makes sense because this was the supermodel era. It went from the 80s until the late 90s. You might have heard of the original Big Five supermodels: Naomi Campbell, Claudia Schiffer, Cindy Crawford, Christy Turlington, and Linda Evangelista. Then the list became the Big Six instead of the Big Five, with the addition of Kate Moss. Goth. It shares some elements with punk fashion, so they are often confused. That makes sense because Goth fashion derived from punk fashion. Keep in mind that I am talking about the Goth fashion movement deriving from punk, not the Goth artistic movement, because that is different. An easy way to distinguish them is that Goths have more romantic elements in their garments. It is heavily influenced by Victorian fashion and Gothic architecture. That is why it can be very over the top and very dark. Like the others, there are many subdivisions. Some of them are a bit less grim, and they include more colors other than black, red, and purple. Another branch of the Goth family would be Goth fashion that is mixed with fetish wear. It was very popular back then, and it has had a very strong comeback. Fetish wear is the height of provocative garments. This is because the original purpose was for it to be BDSM attire. Since this is something that you can technically wear every day, it's not going to be as severe, so you're probably not going to see people wearing leather head to toe. Lately, adding fetish wear inspired items has been widely adopted by high fashion brands. It is very common to see belts with hoops, very high heels, those very chunky chokers, latex tops, and corset tops. All of those are fetish wear inspired. Have you experimented with any of these styles or the ones from the previous video? And if not, how would you describe your own style? If you want more fashion tips, you can go to my written blog, micalumston.com. Or you can hire me as your stylist at cocostyling.com.